Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of News Where's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. Let's go ahead and get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are trading higher this morning, with S&P futures up 0.51%, Dow futures up 0.57%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.51%. Markets are looking up today after having stabilized since Monday's rout, with investors weighing corporate earnings up against the uncertain outlook for global growth. The dollar has remained steady since yesterday's gains, and the Treasury yields edged lower. The 10-year Treasury yield has fallen further below 1.2%, which is the lowest level since February. Traders have pared bets on the Federal Reserve's tightening. This morning, traders have been trying to gauge how long a bout of volatility and growth angst will last after being acquainted to retail investors buying dips in stocks. The other thing everyone's looking toward is the Fed, and will it continue to support the economic revival with ultra-low rates well into next year? Elsewhere in markets, crude oil has hovered between small gains and losses. Over in Europe, the Stoxx 600 index finally ended what became a fourth-day losing streak as traders are looking to buy opportunities for after the worst slump since October. Over in Asia, stocks fell with cyclicals like energy and industrial companies among the weakest performers in the Asian retreat. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Well, Shane, I'm watching the S&P futures. I've been watching them all morning long. They're cautiously higher, I'd say. They're about 0.5% up. They've been in that area all morning long, so that's a positive. Europe is pretty much the same way, although Asia fell, but Europe is pretty stable. The financial stocks are showing strong gains this morning. So I'm really believing that yesterday's sell-off appears to have created a lot of oversold conditions in the market, which is exciting. You look at the catalyst today, and it's not the coronavirus. Today, we're going to be looking at the negotiations on Capitol Hill, on the infrastructure bill. There's a number of economic reports on the housing sector coming out today. And then we also have earnings results because, earnings season's underway. You have Philip Morris and Travelers just reporting. And then after the bell today, we have Netflix, Chipotle Grill, and United Airlines. So I'm positive on today. I think yesterday is really a one-off. And I believe that a lot of those elevated levels of coronavirus in Europe is probably due to the Euro Cup finals that happened exactly 1 week ago. So I think this is momentary, and I think the market's going higher, and that's my position. And right now I'm focused on the earnings.
Let's talk about earnings. There's a lot of good ones we're looking at. Bill, tell us what we've seen so far.
Well, so far, I want to start off with JB Hunt. They released last night. They beat by 6 cents on higher revenue. The stock's essentially flat right now in the pre-market. IBM beat by 4 cents, and they did it on higher revenue. The cloud business looks very strong for them. You see that IBM is up $4.60 or 3.34% this morning. Halliburton beat by 3 cents. They did do it on lower revenue, but you know what? The stock is rebounding. You see that Halliburton is up 2.74% this morning. And let's talk about Travelers Group. They beat by $1.12 on higher revenue. You look at the stock, it's up 0.5% this morning. So that was a nice beat by Travelers Group this morning.
How about upcoming earning announcements?
Well, the one everyone's going to be watching today or for this afternoon is Netflix, ticker NFLX. The earnings estimate there is at $3.15. Now, the expected move is 6.3%. It's not really about the earnings here. It's more about the subscriber base. Read the news. Look what they're doing. They're getting into gaming. They're going to be making their consoles a place for teens to download games and play Xbox, and that could be huge for them. Another one that's coming out this afternoon is United Airlines. That's ticker UAL. Their earnings estimate is a negative $3.95 for this past quarter. Stock is expected to move 6.11% on the earnings announcement. I wouldn't be surprised if, they come in lower. They'll still lose money, but they could come in lower than the $3.95 estimate, which would be a nice positive for United Airlines. But you look at the latest, kind of movement over the last month or so, and it doesn't look like they're pricing in a beat for United Airlines. Chipotle, which is ticker CMG, Charlie Michael Grace. Their earnings estimate is $6.52, and the expected move there is 4.44%. I noticed the put volumes were rather active in Chipotle yesterday. And, let's take a look at Sleep Number Beds. That's ticker SNBR, Sam, Nancy, Boy, Richard. Their earnings estimate is for $1.07. And the expected move there is 15%. So, that is one to watch for this afternoon. And then, let's take a look at Wednesday morning. HOG, which is Harley Davidson, ticker HOG, Harold Oscar Grace. Their earnings estimate is $1.17, and the expected move there is 8.77%. Johnson & Johnson, ticker JNJ. They're also releasing Wednesday morning. Their earnings estimate there is $2.26, and the expected move is 2.37%. Coca-Cola, that's ticker KO. Their earnings estimate is 56 cents, and their expected move is 2.6%. Verizon, they're also releasing Wednesday morning. Earnings estimate is $1.25, and the expected move there is 2.29%.
Looking at our economic reports, Bill, tell us what we're seeing for reports today.
At 8:30 a.m., we get the housing starts and building permits. That's going to be a key one that everyone is going to be watching. At 8:55, we have the Red Book on retail sales, which is not a major report, but when you add them up all together in a month, they become an important factor and worth a read. And then at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the American Petroleum Institute will be releasing their stockpile estimates, which will be a key indicator for oil prices.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Johnson & Johnson, ticker J&J. Johnson & Johnson and other major drug makers and distributors are nearing the settlement of thousands of lawsuits filed against them over the crisis. A $26 billion deal was struck between the four companies and states is expected to be announced this week, and a $1 billion settlement struck between New York and AmerisourceBergen. In other news, Tesla, ticker TSLA, Tesla semi-truck is finally about to go into production, and Tesla share price is up 1% in pre-market. News on Pacific Biosciences, ticker PACB. The company has agreed to buy Omniome for upfront consideration of about $600 million. Elsewhere on the tape, Hudson Capital, ticker HUSN, announced that Freight Hub has signed a merger agreement with its company and doubled its Canadian carrier network to answer the ramping demand for truckload freight customers. Hudson's Capital share price is up 8.25% in pre-market. In other news, Textron, ticker TXT, announced that Surf Air Mobility has signed a purchase agreement for 150 of its planes and an option for 50 more. And Textron's share price is up 1.49% in pre-market. News on Winnebago, ticker WGO. The company is set to acquire Barletta pontoon boats for $255 million. Winnebago share price is up 0.77% in pre-market. Lantern Pharma, ticker LTNR, has jumped 14% in pre-market after positive results from its study and treatment of LP-184. In other news, MediWound, ticker MDWD, said that its primary endpoints met a phase 3 pediatric clinical study for its skin treatment for severe burns in children. And news on Moderna, ticker mRNA. It's supplying Japan with over 50 million doses, with delivery beginning in 2022. Other news on Japan's Ministry of Health. Japan has become the first country to approve Regeneron, ticker REGN's antibody cocktail for the treatment of mild to moderate COVID-19. And lastly for me, one on MasterCard. It's enhancing the card program for cryptocurrency wallets and exchanges, and MasterCard share price is up 0.89% in pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Well, Shane, I break my news alerts down into specific sectors and events. I'm follow certain industries very closely, and I follow certain events very closely. That's what NewsWire gives me the ability to do, to catch that breaking news quick. I'm looking at my sector alerts. specifically my FANG alert this morning, and I'm focused on Netflix, earnings this afternoon. We know what the estimates are. We know what the expected move is, but higher streaming sales from the U.S. and Canada, as well as Latin America, and lower overall general administration expenses, could really be, really result in a nice earnings per share beat today. I still think it's really about the guidance. I mean, I think the Q3 guidance is likely going to be the main catalyst for this stock when they report this afternoon, and that's really the thing that people are going to be watching for. That's what I'm going to be focused on. Other stocks in the FANG sector is Apple. Apple apparently is out there. They're looking to lease a large production facility campus in Los Angeles for its growing entertainment operations. Amazon, ticker AMZN. Amazon's founder, Blue Origin's founder, Jeff Bezos, he's planning to take his own spacecraft into orbit today with 4 passengers, including the first paying traveler. Facebook, there's a New York Times article out there on Facebook saying, and it's indicating that Facebook really does not know many specifics about how misinformation on the coronavirus has spread, because they're in that big tete-a-tete with President Biden over their responsibility to eliminate misinformation about the coronavirus. And apparently, from what that Times article is saying, that the people at Facebook are really unsure on how this information is getting out there. And also Twitter. Let's see a story on Twitter today, ticker TWTR. The social media company on Monday said it temporarily suspended Republican U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's account for tweets which violated social media and misinformation policy on COVID-19. Moving over to my Dow Jones 30 alert, Merck. Merck posts positive safety data for its investigational HIV drug. That's good, strong news. Pfizer, ticker PFE, they're expanding their Chainix recall according to the FDA. And McDonald's, according to UBS, who just did, a check on their comps and their same-store sales, things look very good according to UBS. So that's a nice positive for them. In terms of the option market, I'm keeping my eye on earnings and the options going into earnings today. I'm particularly going to be watching CMG, Chipotle Grill, only because the put options were very elevated yesterday. That could have been because of the market, but I want to see how they go if it turns going into the earnings results this afternoon. CMG will be one to watch. It's set for a big move when they release earnings this afternoon. In terms of events going on today, Stars Constellation Brands, that's ticker STZ, Sam, Tom, Zebra. At 11 a.m., these guys are having a shareholders meeting. And Snap, ticker SNAP, Sam, Nancy, Apple, Paul, they're having a shareholders meeting today, but theirs doesn't start till 4 p.m. Eastern time. But that's what I'm seeing in terms of news events this morning, Shane.
Let's talk about our Trade Talk picks for today. I'm picking Winnebago, ticker WGO, one that I spoke about after the acquisition is doing of Barletta pontoon boats for $255 million. It's interesting news. They're up positive in pre-market, and it's just a nice diversity being added to their company, which is a very impressive one going into the last year and a half with the pandemic and just people deciding to hit the road for vacation as opposed to flying, as opposed to getting hotel rooms. They're staying in their RVs. And this is something that's not losing steam. It's staying positive. And so I think this diversification by having pontoon boats now added to their company is something that can be positive for them and looked at that way. So I see that going higher today. What's your pick looking like, Bill?
I'm going with NASDAQ. That's ticker NDAQ. They're unveiling a new platform for trading private company stock. This is for pre-IPO shares, and that's really what this new trading platform is about. That's really positive move. Plus, we have the earnings coming out tomorrow morning, and it's priced for a 5% move. So I think you add these two things up, and you're going to see a positive movement in ticker NDAQ today. And it's worth buying, near the opening. If it pushes back a little bit in the first 5-10 minutes, it's okay to wait. But I really think we're going to see some nice gains in ticker NDAQ today. So that's my pick for today.
Moving into what's hot off the press, it's the news that's hitting the tape as we speak that'll move the stocks today. Let's get into it. So, Bill, which of the headlines we should be letting traders know about?
I see the Tractor Supply Company, TSCO, Tom, Sam, Charlie Oscar is getting a lot of price target raises this morning.
Pizza Inn, ticker RAVE, has announced that a multi-unit franchise deal to expand in North Texas. Here's a stock watch on Ardelyx, ticker ARDX. The company has plunged 70% in pre-market on the FDA's update on its treatment to tenapanor. The FDA specifically clarified that it identified deficiencies that preclude discussions of labeling and post-marketing requirements and commitments at this time.
Here's one on Intel INTC. It's really from Susquehanna saying that Intel is set up for an achievable, beat, given that the earnings estimates have been lower, the expectations have been lower.
News on DraftKings, ticker DKNG. DraftKings will be the official betting operator of Northern Trust World Golf Championships.
Here's one on LivePerson, that's ticker LPSN. Larry, Paul, Sam, Nancy. LivePerson acquires the German conversational AI company Bot7, eBot7.
Another acquisition story. Barbecue Guys is set to become a publicly traded company via a merger with Velocity Acquisition, ticker VELO. Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm saying, Shane.
Same here, so that'll do it for what's hot off the press. Traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Monday. I had 5.9, ticker FIVN. It opened at $188.11, and from there ticked down pretty much immediately below our buy-in price, which was going in below $186. And it basically dropped around $184.28 before coming back to $188.12 before the close for a 2.08% gain. So good move for us. How'd yours end up doing, Bill?
Well, I went with Verizon yesterday, which was really a safe pick, ticker VZ, Victor Zebra. And my price target there was $55.60. And I did that because, I knew the stock was going to retreat off of the opening price. So I don't want to pay up for it, but I knew that with the market conditions yesterday, you had to put a price target in on a stock that's lower than it's currently trading, and then expect it to move a little higher. Now the stock opened up at $56.17, and it pulled all the way back to $55.31. My in price was $55.60, and if you look at the end of the day, the stock closed at $55.84, which is about a 0.43% gain from my entry price. If you look at the stock today, if you look at Verizon today, it's trading 56.03, which really is a 1% gain from my expected my entry price of $55.60. So yeah, it was a good pick in a horrible market yesterday.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.